We're live. What's up, everybody? Yeah, we're live. Well, kind of. I found out this is interesting. So it goes live on here, and then it like takes a second. But it actually, as soon as I hit live on here, we're live.
So we're live right now.
We're
Create Wow Summit, San
absolutely-
Ramon, California, with Jon Hill.
That was absolutely the worst introduction you've probably ever done in your entire life. What's up, everybody?
Create
We're
Wow.
Here. We're here live on Create Wow. And excited to be hanging out with one of our good friends, Jon Hill from Get Credit Healthy. And it was funny. I heard some pretty fun stories from Jon yesterday, from golfing to like, this guy is probably one of the most connected guys in our industry. So if you're wanting to get to know Jon Hill better, you definitely need to reach out to him because he's got good stories. Plus, you introduced us to some people. And this is what I want to talk about for a sec, Jon. And we'll start off on this way. We'll get to get Credit Healthy, I promise. But I mean, you do a lot of traveling, a ton of traveling for not only for Get Credit Healthy, but when you come to an event like this, is there anything you have in mind? Like, is it just to come to build relationships? Not just, I mean, of course you see some of your clients here, but why do you come to events like this? Why do you spend time away from family, traveling, doing all this? Why do you do it?
You know, I mean, we talked yesterday about it, and it's just passion for the industry, right? It's connecting. For me, when I go to an event like this, or any event in the mortgage industry, it's obviously, networking and meeting new people, but connecting the right people together that have that passion and that vision for what we want to do next in the industry. So that's really what I've been, kind of focusing on my personal brand, but the brand of our company over the last few years is just kind of being someone that's not going to talk just about themselves, but others, connecting the right people together to really, what this is about is kind of create wow together, kind of, and Alex talked about it earlier is what are we going to leave for our legacy in this industry over the next 30 years? And if we all talk to the right people and the people that have the passion, and we can put together, I talk to a lot of people at every event, and putting the right people together that are going to just really drive cool outcomes is it's awesome to see. It's really cool to see.
And it's so, I agree. It's cool to see. It's fun to be a part of. We were talking with Craig Pollock a little while ago from Social Survey, talking about this event. And, we travel to a lot of events. We get to see good, bad, ugly, and some events that are so vendor focused that they're all about, oh, well, we want as many sponsors as we can. Everybody's trying to shield their product to everybody.
Yeah.
And the good events, summits like this, it's not about that. It's like you're talking about, look, there's KP. KP just did a great job. Just got off stage. Guys, I got some good video of you talking about culture. Guys, KP truly is one of those guys when it comes to culture that you
Kevin Peronio, PRMG, homeowner now.
Oh, wait, you got to come in a little bit more. Let me see you.
Hey. Bring that guy in here.
I gotta run my national call for wholesale. We have 80 account executives for wholesale non-del core on our national call, and we have a special guest, Anthony Costa, today.
Oh, we got some big news on that too.
This is a real conference when Shred Media is here.
Absolutely.
Oh, what a nice guy.
I will say what they said do is KP is like the epitome of culture in this industry.
He really is.
When I grow up, I
is.
want to be a half of what KP is.
I want to be like KP.
and I'll be awesome, but I'll never be as great as KP.
He's a good guy. But going back to Credit Healthy. So Get Credit Healthy. So with Get Credit Healthy, everybody's in. We've had some other people with Sam Parker, who's helps with credit, but Get Credit Healthy is different than just your regular credit restoration company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's talk about Get Credit Healthy, because this is something that many Americans across the country are struggling with. They've had bad things happen to good people, so they need help. So let's talk a little bit about Get Credit Healthy and what you guys really do for the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a focus on creating a qualified consumer. Right. Yep. Credit repair is more of a transactional type of of an event. Whereas what we're doing is creating longevity. We want a qualified consumer so that they can get a mortgage, but they can also get a better rate on a car payment and a better. So for us, it's focused on creating a qualified consumer, not just doing a deal.
Nice.
So, I mean, our vision, our mission is no lead left behind, because before you have a borrower, you have to have a lead.
Sure.
And making sure that you're winning local and creating raving fans and super fans
like Brittany
you're going to
Hodak.
start at that lead level. And there's leads that don't qualify.
Absolutely.
So we have to have a focus and a strategy to recover those. And so we create transparency around the entire process. Our platform will drive the outcome of recovering that lead and then creating that super fan. That's the most important. I mean, our heart is creating a qualified consumer, but our mission is really recovering that borrower and leaving no lead left behind.
Nice. Which I think is absolutely brilliant. We don't think about a lot of times, and I'm not going to knock any credit repair companies. I've worked with a lot of them in the past. Again, I know Sam does a great job, but when it comes to that transaction, I think that's what gets a lot of times, especially as a mortgage professional, so many credit companies were trying to sell me like, hey, come, let us be your credit repair company. And it was always transactional.
Well, a lot of bad players too.
Yes, and that's the problem. There's a ton of bad players in it. And then my borrower would look, that fell upon me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one who got judged. They're like, oh, you sent me this credit repair company and they just wanted my money. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. So having somebody like Get Credit Healthy, which has, again, that long-term in mind for them when it's not just a transactional. And it's not just about a mortgage. Like you said, it's qualifying for a car, certain things like that.
Exactly.
There's so much more that goes into it than just that one little piece.
Yeah, and the people who perform the education and the counseling are actually nonprofit HUD counselors.
Wow.
So we don't have paralegals or people that are FICO certified. I mean, we do those things, but for longevity and for strategy, for budgeting, I mean, that's why we have the nonprofit HUD counselors do the work and then provide them the tools to communicate back to the borrower. We know that they're governed by the Housing and Urban Development Department, doing all of those things that's right for the borrower, which is right and compliant for this industry, is very, very important for us.
Yeah, and I think it's very important. It's great to see kind of this different category. You guys have kind of created this new category. It's not credit repair per se. So it's really exciting to see.
Yeah, it's more, I mean, again, no lead left behind, but it's lead recovery.
Yeah.
But it's education, it's counseling. If you think about what do you know about your credit? What do you know about debt? You're not taught that in grade school and high school, in college. So when you go to college and you're walking through the bowels of that first football game and you see that little credit station there that to get a Capital One card and get a blanket because it's cold outside. Well, you know what? That 18-year-old now is able to do that. They're going to do that.
Absolutely.
But they don't understand the ramifications of now you have a credit card. Now you can accumulate that. What happens when you don't have the money to pay that debt?
Yep.
Nobody's educating that. And so we're behind the 8 ball in that education, but we're trying to now correct that through every borrower and every lead that comes over to us.
Which I think is so necessary because, like you said, they don't talk about it in high school. This isn't common knowledge coming out of high, and millennials especially, like you said. I literally had a niece. This is a true story. Literally had a niece and nephew. They called us up and they said, hey, we just got this credit card. We just want to make sure we're, kind of in the family. People bounce things off as people know I'm in the mortgage industry. So they're like, hey, we just got this credit card. We used it and we're getting hit with all these fees. And, what are your thoughts about paying it off? And I'm like, well, how long have you had it? And they're like, oh, we've had it for a couple of months now. I'm like, well, how much do you have on it? They're like, oh, well, it's like $12,000. I'm like, they gave you a $12,000 limit on their credit and they maxed it out. And they're just like, but we thought we could pay it off, but it's like 22%. I'm like, oh my gosh,
and
guys.
You pay the minimum payment.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know what? It's only $30 a month. I can afford $30 a month, but then you've got that 22% interest.
Exactly.
And now you've got your maxed out credit and you're gaining more interest. And it's just going to take somebody on a minimum payment 60 years to pay something like that off.
And that's what they're just like, well, what do we do? And I'm like, number one, so there's just no education.
Exactly.
Like, you have to be educated. And I think that's where it's really exciting is to see that education being really introduced into it.
Yeah, and our platform doesn't, our coaching, counseling, it doesn't end with that transaction. Right. They can stay in as long as they want if they don't feel they're ready. And we keep the door open for them to do that as long as they're willing and able to engage.
Right.
If it's not, we end it with the transaction. But it goes both ways. And it's really cool to see a borrower that really needs help, a lead, a consumer that really needs help. And all they want to do is get a house or refinance that home to save that money. And they're doing everything they possibly can to become a more qualified and more educated consumer.
So let's talk a little bit more about that, just because I know probably some mortgage professionals and real estate professionals that are watching this, because what does that actual process look like with you guys? So if I reach out to Get Credit Healthy, I have a borrower that, they have less than perfect credit. Something happened, bad things happen to good people or whatever happened. When that handoff happens, what does that typically look like with you guys? Do you walk them through a process, and then how's the handoff go?
Yeah. So what we do is we have an initial consultation call. We talk to them for about 30 minutes to find out what their goals are, why, what's happened and where their credit is. We take a look and do a soft pull and look at what's affecting that credit score. And then we talk to the borrower about, what we can do for them and how we put them through the platform. Once they engage and they decide to sign up, the HUD counselors start over and they build a strategy. If they'll build a budget, they'll do all of that stuff for the borrower so that they understand what's made up of what's the makeup of their credit, because there's 5 key tools of the of credit. So we'll show them where all of their trade lines fit in those, and then we'll show them how to manage those trade lines and what it means to have a missed payment and what it means to make your payments on time, how it affects you when you have a collection and all that. So we're educating the borrower, but we're also fixing those issues as well.
Nice. I just had a really cool idea that we're going to have to talk about after this show, because I had an idea as you were saying this that I think it would be a lot of fun for the Shred Show. So we're going to talk about that. You guys have to keep tuned, because I just got a really cool idea with something that John said. So I think this is so cool because, again, it's different than anybody's ever experienced in the mortgage world. We're so used to credit repair. And again, I'm not bashing any of them.
Yeah,
There's some really good ones out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for the most part, they don't have the best reputation in the industry.
And I think, honestly, let's just be honest. Like, yes, a majority of the industry, as far as perception, it's a bad one, right? And
absolutely.
So that's one thing that we talk about, is that, when we did our thing, Sam is talking with John here, is like, look, we really want to not just educate the consumer, but educate the industry, and saying, like, look, this isn't just like you trying to do a deal. Get Credit Healthy is for the long-term longevity of that consumer, right? Outside of just mortgage, right? And that's the right thing to do, and it's going to be a better qualified borrower.
Absolutely.
For that. And so that's what I like about it. It's different than just like, hey, let's get that score up so you can close that deal.
Yeah,
it's different.
Think about the rate environment that we're in right now.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
We're going down 1/4 of a point every month. We're going to be, possibly in the 2s, by the end of the year. And you do a deal now, and in 6 months, those people may be be able to refinance again. You put them through credit repair to do that refi the first time. What happens in 6 months if it's just that, we're going to dispute this, dispute that?
Yeah.
You're going to fall into that same trap, and a lot of borrowers may end up paying more money to then refinance again and get their credit repaired again. Whereas, we're taking a little bit different journey. We're taking them down a little bit different path. Yeah. Our highway is a little bit different. There's no exit roads. We've got to get off when we have to get off.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly how it should be. So I think Get Credit Healthy, what you guys are doing, the education side especially, I think that's really, really cool. So I'm excited to see what you guys, you're still a relatively young company too.
For the new platform that we have, but we have, launching with Arrive a few weeks ago, and we're going to be talking with Katie, very soon about that launch. We're really excited about the whole broker movement and making sure that, they're winning local and helping them winning local. We're talking about that here today.
Yep.
And with all of the stuff that you've talked about with Zillow and iBuyer and all of this is going to help you create that, those super fans in your area to help you 100%. Win every day. Your borrowers are going to tell your story. And when the loan officers and the lenders are deploying systems like ours and Alex's and social surveys, you're literally creating fans that are going to help you win every day and combat those national conglomerates that are coming out, even Amazon, 100%. Which is, you're going to combat that and win.
And we have to combat it if we want to win, because these companies are going to continue. It seems like it's once, if not twice a week, that Jason and I are talking about some new big partnership in real estate that somebody just entered the mortgage space. And it's like, guys, it's partnerships like we're talking about with Get Credit Healthy, Sales Boomerang, Social Survey that we need to be doing, because the mortgage or the real estate expert just can't be the mortgage expert anymore. They have to be an advisor. They have to have some tools in their quiver, in their box, to really be able to step up and to really, it's not all about customer service anymore. I hate saying it, but you have to be able to provide more to your customer and your client, or you're going to lose.
And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that, over the last couple of years, people thought about millennials.
Sure.
They thought they didn't want to talk. They wanted to do everything on digitally, right?
Nope.
But what they're finding out is that they want to begin digitally, but
Absolutely.
They need that local expert, that mortgage expert to win local. And what 100%. Happens if they don't have credit? They're credit invisible, or they have bad credit. Yep. Well, that expert needs to help them and get them in with a company that can help them, become a more qualified consumer, but get that mortgage.
100%. Absolutely. Well, guys, we actually are, as John actually mentioned, we have a big announcement coming up with them here pretty quick. We're going to have Katie on from Arrive, and we're going to be making some really fun announcements with her as well. And we just want to thank John for taking a few minutes this afternoon. I hate to cut this short. My iPad's about to die, which means we're going to lose connection. So,
well, I want to thank these guys, because these guys are really spreading a lot of really good things about the industry.
Thank you.
The content that you guys are delivering is relevant, and it's and people are engaging with you, and that's why when I come to these conferences and introduce you guys to those people, is because you guys want to win, and you guys have a vision and a passion to make sure that we're leaving a good legacy for this industry for 30 years. So
thanks, sir.
I appreciate what you guys do, as much as you do everybody else and the people you have on your show. I do really want to give a quick shout out. I talked to this guy earlier from Arrive. Christian Hernandez from Mayor's Mortgage. He's a big fan of yours.
Super cool guy. I love Christian.
Great dude. I talked to him earlier. He's one of the first one of our first brokers from Arrive to reach out. So we got him set up today. So Christian, thank you. We're looking forward to working for you guys.
Family, Cubby's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to it. We're going to be out at the Arrive show with you guys.
Fuse.
Fuse.
We'll plug him up. Yeah. Fuse is October. Oh, I'm so
10th,
sorry.
11th.
10th, 11th.
Bellagio in Las Vegas. So if you're not
could be some
going, we're all going to be there, and we're going to create some really good content and partnerships out there as well.
It's going to be a great event. So Fuse is October 11th and 12th, 10th and 11th. Sorry, 10th and 11th.
I believe, yeah.
Going to be we'll actually post a link below for everybody. So
Friday, Saturday.
Yep. Guys, Jon Hill from Get Credit Healthy. If you guys haven't checked him out, you definitely. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Email jhill at getcredithealthy.com. I answer everything. So
there you go.
Get it up, and we'll help everybody out. Looking forward to talking to everybody.
Nice, John. Thanks for hanging out.
Anytime.
Appreciate it. All right, guys. We Jason and I are going to jump on. We actually got permission from Craig to be able to broadcast our session talking about podcasting.
Yep.
So we're going to go get everything charged real quick. We're going to get in the other room, and we're going to have a session talking about podcasting, how to start a podcast, answer questions live. So look forward to having you guys join us here in about 15, 20 minutes. Make sure you come back and join us there. So thanks, John. You're the man. Appreciate it.
Not here this year. Be here next year, because this is where to be here.
Very cool.
Great wow.
Great wow, guys.
Wow, guys.
All right. See you soon.
See ya.